Good morning and welcome to Friday's Maths. So, on Wednesday, we were looking at multiplication with compensation. So, what that means is if you multiply one factor by 4, you need to multiply the product or the answer by 4. Yesterday, we started looking at compensation with division. So if you divide or multiply the dividend, which is the large number, by something, you need to divide or multiply the answer, the quotient, by that same amount. And today, we are going to be looking at a similar rule, but this time we're looking at the divisor. Okay then, rewind. First things first. What is the divisor? What is the dividend? And what is the quotient? Pause the video. Have a go. Well, this is the dividend, the large number you are sharing. You can see it down here. 20 represents the whole bar model. The divisor here is the number that you are sharing it into. So you're sharing it into 4 parts. There's my 4 parts. And my quotient is the answer. So 20 divided by 4 is 5. So each one of these parts is worth 5. So here's our first question for today. 24 meatballs are shared equally between 4 people. Then 24 meatballs are shared equally between 8 people. How many meatballs did each person get in each situation? So I want you to write out these 2 number sentences and I want you to show the relationship between them. Off we go. Okay, hopefully you got something that looks like this. 24 meatballs shared between 4 people, they would get 6 each. 24 meatballs shared between 8 people, they would get 3 each. What's the relationship here? And this is a little bit trickier, than what we were doing yesterday. So if you double the divisor, so the thing that you are dividing by, and you keep the dividend the same, you must halve the quotient. Okay, so the reason that this is, if we are doubling the amount of people that it's shared between, they're going to get half as many things because there's double the amount of people to share between, so they're going to get half of the things. Okay, so if you multiply the divisor by 2 and keep the dividend the same, you must divide the quotient by 2. Okay, and these two things mean the same thing because doubling and multiplying by 2 is equal. Next one then. 24 marbles are put into bags of 2. Then 24 marbles are put into bags of 6. How many marbles did each person get in each situation? And I want you to show me the relationship between these 2 equations. Off we go. Well, hopefully you've got something that looks like this. 24 divided by 2 is 12. So for me to work out 24 divided by 6, the dividend has stayed the same. I've times the divisor by 3. So I need to I've multiplied the divisor by 3. So I need to divide the quotient by 3 to get 4. And I can check that with my times tables. So the reason for this is because I've got these 24 marbles. I'm now tripling times by 3 the amount of bags that they are being shared into. So now rather than 2 bags, they're being shared into 6 bags. So because of this, there's now 3 lots. There's 3 times as many bags. So there's going to be a third less marbles in each bag. Okay, I hope that makes sense. It's quite difficult to say verbally. Okay, so if you're timesing the amount you're splitting it into by 3, you're going to third what's in there. Right, next one. Pause the video and have a go. Okay, answer time. So for the first one, you're halving it, so you're dividing it by 2. For the second one, you are turning it into an eighth. You are dividing by 8. So 80 divided by 2 is 40. So I can use this to work out 80 divided by 8. So if I multiply the divisor by 4 and I keep the dividend the same, I must divide the quotient by 4. Next one. Pause the video. Have a go. Hopefully you find this nice and easy to see this relationship and then check it with your times tables afterwards. So this time, we've gone from 8 stables to 4 stables. So if you halve the divisor and the dividend stays the same, you've got to double the quotient. Can you see this is the other way around? So if you double the divisor, you've got to halve the quotient. But if you're halving the divisor, you've got to double the quotient. So you're always doing the opposite, because this time you're sharing it with less people. So they're going to get, or less stable, so they're going to have more each. Right, pause video. Have a go. What's the relationship? Well, you've got 36 divided by 12 is 3, so 36 divided by 4 is 9. So if you divide the divisor by 3 and keep the dividend the same, you've got to multiply the quotient by 3. Okay, so this one takes a little bit more thinking than what we were doing yesterday and Wednesday. So this one, you've got to understand the why behind it. Okay, and it's all about whether you are you're sharing it with more or less people, or whatever it is, whatever the context is, than you were before. So if you're dividing by 3, you've got to times the answer by 3. Okay, what is the relationship? You've got loads of sums on there. I want you to pick 3 pairs of numbers. So it could be this one and this one, this one and this one. Just make sure that there is a relationship. For example, these two, you can't divide 8 by anything to get to 3, so they're not going to have a relationship together. Okay, so choose any 3 pairs, have a go at working out the relationship between them. Off we go. Okay then, so I'm going to choose the first 2, just to make it nice and easy. So I can see that I've halved the divisor, so I'm going to double the quotient. So I've divided by 2, so I have doubled it. Now I'll choose the next 2 down. No, I won't, because they don't divide. Let's get my pen back out, if I can find it. Now I've put it away. I'm going to choose... Ooh, go back. I'm going to choose this one. And I'm going to choose this one. So, what's the relationship between these two? Well, I've gone from dividing by 12 to dividing by 6. So I've divided the divisor by 2, which tells me I'm going to times by 2 or double the quotient. 2 times 2 is 4. Yes, I can see that that is right. Now, there's some on here that you would have struggled to find a relationship with. For example, this one, 24 divided by 8 and 24 divided by 6. And that's because there isn't a relationship between these two that divides or multiplies by a whole number, because 6 is not a factor of 8. So you need to try, the only time this works is when there is a relationship, multiplying or dividing, not adding or subtracting, between the divisors, and then there'll be a relationship between the quotients. Okay? Okay then, last little set of problems for today. Another nice, quick and easy lesson for you. So this is using learning from yesterday and the day before and today. So I want you to go down, I want you to look at the relationships. Do you think these are true or false? Have a go. Okay, answer time then. So for the first one, I have multiplied a factor by 2, so I multiply the answer by 2, which is then true. Second one, I have times, no I haven't, I've divided, just my pen looks awful. I've divided the dividend, no I haven't, I've divided the divisor by 2, which means I need to multiply the quotient by 2. So if I've divided the dividend, I need to times the quotient. So that should have been 204. This person's halved it, not times by 2. Next one is also wrong because I've times the divisor by 2, so I should divide the quotient by 2, so it should be 47.5. Next one is correct. I've times by 2, so then I've divided the quotient by 2. Next one, I multiplied 45 by 2 to get to 90, so I've times a factor by 2, so I times the answer by 2. Next one, I've times 45 times 4 to get to 180, so I should have times the answer or the product by 4, so it should be 900 times 4, not times 3. And for the last one, I've done 360 divided by 2 to get to 180. So I've divided the dividend by 2, so I should times the answer by 2, which should be 45, not 60. Really well done if you got those right. Okay, well done for today. Now, these lessons, the last 3 days have been quite short, okay? And it's all about you learning other ways of working things out. It's about looking at patterns. So feel free to go on TT Rockstars or hit the button, but I want to just show you this section of hit the button. So you go on number bonds. I think people think, oh, number bonds are so easy. But actually on here, there's some really quite difficult stuff. So at the bottom, you can do units plus units plus units, which is 3 numbers added together as quick as you can. There's also addition within 100 and subtraction within 100. There's making 100. And it's all about number bonds up to 100, up to 20, up to 10. And then there's also decimals. And the quicker you are at that, the easier you will find everything next year. There is also halving and doubling, also really useful to have a go at. Some of the doubles go up to multiples of 50, up to 500. So there's lots and lots of things to look at, and so does the halving. So again, if you're thinking, actually, probably I found the dividing by 2 and timesing by 2 a bit hard, look at those. Times tables, I think we're probably pretty good at, but division facts is definitely something to have a look at as well. And there is always square numbers if you want to do some square number times tables. Really well done for today. Have a lovely weekend, and I will see you next week. Goodbye.